I'm a parent here at Ichabod Crane, and why am I here? Well, I guess we really don't want to have to be here, but nobody really wants to be at a board meeting complaining or crying. But there's a desperate need for parents to stick up for children. What's going on right now with especially the funding from the federal government is quite upsetting, and I'm afraid that these funds for this the APR ESSER Funds 3 is going to tie this school to basically having to mask children till 2024. Yeah, it might seem great, but where there's money and there's strings attached, it's more like a bribe than necessarily something great. I mean, we're paying tax dollars. Well, I feel like this federal money is a bribe to keep the schools. They have to write every 6 months how they're keeping up with encouraging vaccines, vaccine clinics, testing, and masking till 2024. So this is a big undertaking that I don't think a lot of parents know that their schools are agreeing to. I'm just making the correlation between federal funding and what it means to accept federal funding and where we're at today. And by taking more money that we don't need, it's like funny money. They have to spend it. They're creating jobs. They can hire another nurse to keep tabs. I'm sure there's a lot of money happily being made, but we don't need this money. Our school's running just fine without it. I think they need to stop coercing children to get it. I think taking athletes, taking the healthiest kids of the school and having them be an example, to get vaccinated is a detriment to society and to, the soul life of the children. Here at Ichabod Crane, the children, in order to play winter sports, had to be vaccinated, even though they play 10 to 12 other teams in their little circuit that aren't vaccinated. So lots of children, this is talking about middle school, high school aged children, had to get vaccinated this October if they wanted to play basketball, wrestle, indoor track, and other sports.
I'm here because I have a 6-year-old son here, and I don't agree with any of this. I agree that everything should be a choice. If people want to wear masks, let them wear masks. If people want to be vaccinated, let them be vaccinated. I don't want to be any of that, and I'm just here to be a voice for my child and to stand up against what I believe is the biggest crime against humanity that is bleeding into every facet of all of our lives and the schools, which my son and other children are a part of. And that's what really burns my heart the most, is the children, because they don't have a voice in any of this. So I am a voice, and that's why I'm here. He's developed a habit that we noticed when he speaks, he does that. He'll say it quietly again. And when he has a mask on, when he speaks, you don't see me doing that because I have a mask on. But when I take it off, you see it. So is that directly because of the masks? I really don't know. But I know enough about them that they don't work. And I know enough about them that they are cutting off oxygen. Has anybody seen the videos where they're using the oxygen sensor, or what are those things called, that test the environment to make sure it's safe? I mean, I've seen a couple of those, and it's not. So when I think about him or anybody else wearing one of these things, it really bothers me. So I'm trying to do what I can to stop this madness. This is not about red or blue or Trump or Biden or any of that. Unfortunately, there is politics involved, but for me, it is about our freedom, and I don't care who is saying anything. If it's affecting my freedom, and people's freedom, that's the bottom line. So what's happening all over our country is none of this stuff is law. None of it. It's mandates, it's orders, it's recommendations, and people are following them. I don't follow them. I don't go wearing my mask anywhere I go. I'm holding this, and here I am, because I want to speak. So I have to. But I know my rights, and I know that we have a constitution. And when they wrote that constitution, they knew that government would get evil and overreach. And it's obvious, right, that everybody's overreaching right now in our government, and it's bleeding into other places like these schools. So these guys may not mean it, but they're accepting money, and this money comes with conditions. And I was never asked, is it okay that we accept this money and follow these conditions? These conditions, to me, are child abuse, and I don't want anything to do with it, and I gotta fight to stop this.
Health and wellness is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It appears in your due diligence to protect health, you have not protected the children's freedoms. My daughter cannot play basketball. She can play in gym class, basically, but she cannot play in the game that same night, in the same gym. She sat on the bench and watched her team play against Tohos, whose board and superintendent have not imposed illegal coercion on their athletes. So unvaccinated kids from Tohos could play with her teammates, but she could not. They care more about her vaccine status than they care about her. She is not a statistic. She is not a story. She is a person.
Great, can I interrupt you there because that was your time, and we have a lot of
Children's
folks
medical
signed up for
choices
this
are
evening.
none of your business. And why are the unvaccinated being treated differently than the vaccinated?
Great, thank you.
Who here has heard of Dr. Robert Malone? Anyone? He is the inventor of the mRNA technology. What I would like you to understand is that Dr. Malone has had the mRNA vaccine. So when he speaks his concerns, I hope you're more willing to listen, and at least look into it. Dear parents, before you inject your child, a decision that is irreversible, I wanted to let you know the scientific facts about this generic vaccine, which is based on the mRNA vaccine technology I created. There are a few issues parents need to understand. The first is that a viral gene will be injected into your child's cells. This gene forces your child's body to make toxic spike proteins. Yes, I know these concepts could be hard to follow in there, in this career. These toxic spike proteins often cause permanent damage in children's critical organs, including their brain and nervous system, their heart and blood vessels, including blood clots, their reproductive system. This vaccine can trigger fundamental changes to their immune system. The most alarming point about this is that once these damages have occurred, they are irreparable. You can't fix the lesions in their brain. You can't repair heart tissue scarring. You can't repair a genetically reset immune system. This vaccine can cause reproductive damage that can affect future generations of your family. The second thing you need to know about this fact is that this novel technology has not been adequately tested. We need at least 5 years of testing research before we can really understand the risks. Harms and risks of new medicine often become revealed many years later. Ask yourself if you want your own child to be part of the most radical medical experiment in human history. So I ask you, where there is risk, there must be choice. That is the message I want you to hear. Where there is risk, there must be choice. I am asking you to consider this concept, which to me feels fair. You can't expect everyone to make the same choices, especially not when top experts, even ones vaccinated themselves, are speaking out on this concern. Say it again. Where there is risk, there must be choice. So please, let's say no to mandating a medical experiment. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Will our children, pre-K to grade 12, be required to wear a mask until 2024 in order to receive $5.6 million from the federal government? Is this true? In March 2021, Joe Biden signed the American Rescue Plan Act to give schools COVID relief money. Shortly after that, ESSER money, elementary and secondary school emergency relief COVID funds were offered to schools. Is it true, up until 2024, ICC students absolutely must continue to mask? Strongly encourage our children to be vaccinated, mandate isolation and quarantining, weekly testing in order to attend school up until 2024. May I remind us all of our history from World War II, Nuremberg Code, Article 6, Section 3. In no case should a collective agreement or consent of a community leader or any other authority substitute for an individual's informed consent. Our children and families given a detailed list and explanation of possible serious adverse side effects after COVID-19 shot, such as myocarditis, pericarditis, infertility, paralysis, seizure, stroke, or sudden death from blood clots. All leaders and board members, mandating masks or COVID shots on the citizens of a nation and preventing their access to food, healthcare, transport, or education is a war crime. Masking and shots must absolutely remain voluntary. Thank you.
So I'm just going to tell a quick story that I heard the other day on a show being done by a lawyer from California. She was talking about a girl in Oregon who was 16 and was being forced to wear a mask for basketball practice. Her mother told her, just don't wear the mask, and she was happy her daughter had agreed not to wear the mask. She got to practice. Her coach would not allow her to take the mask off. So she did the practice for an hour and then told him that she felt sick and she needed to take it off. He would not let her take it off in public. He sent her to the locker room to take the mask off out of people's sight. And that girl passed out on her way into the bathroom and lay there for 2 minutes, not breathing. Another girl found her, and it took another 5.5 minutes to revive her because somebody had some kind of a Narcan pack to bring her back to life. She also crashed in the ambulance on the way to the hospital and was out for another 10 minutes, not breathing. This lawyer's claim is that it is second-degree attempted murder to enforce the mask on a girl who cannot tolerate a mask. I bring this story up because I know you guys have taken money from the state, from the federal grants, from the ESSER funds, I know that there are things that you need to adhere to because of these contracts you signed. I know you guys are a business. In certain ways, the school has a lot of money going through it. And so that's a huge responsibility to figure out how to spend the money, what to do with the money. But my question is this, should you take money that you don't need? And do you know what you're doing in terms of the well-being of the children?
Medical choices for the children belong with their parents. Young athletes should not be coerced by their school into taking what is actually an untested medical intervention. What passed for safety test was a joke. Trust the science, trust the scientists, based on a 3-month trial. What would have happened if smoking had been tested for 3 months? Those of you old enough will remember doctors smoked Camels and how we were assured by our health departments that smoking is safe. My brother died of lung cancer a long time after 3 months had passed, as did millions of other people, based on science doing something completely healthy. How does science, medicine, and our trusted government officials handle the matter of children and the essentially untested jab, like they did smoking? Harvard professor, editor-in-chief of the New English Journal of Medicine, Dr. Eric Rubin, discussing the COVID vaccine EUA for children ages 5 through 11, said, "We're never going to learn how safe the vaccine is until we start giving it. That's the way it goes." That's the way it goes, he says. They're not his children, are they? The safety should not be decided by giving it. But what are the results of this? What's happening out in the world of the vaccine amongst young athletes? Here are some examples. Jason Kidd, 12, died during basketball practice. Gajan Nestor, 13, soccer, dead. Unnamed soccer player, 13, heart attack on the field. Andrew Roseman, junior high baseball pitcher, dead. Ava Rose Party, 14, soccer, collapses in a coma. Maura Avery, 15, soccer, dead. Joshua Ivory, 15, soccer, dead. Stephen Sylvester, 15, soccer, dead. Ivo Duhart, 16, soccer, dead. Diego Frechard, 16, heart attack. Drake Geiger, 16, soccer, dead. Ivan Hicks, 16, soccer, dead. All of a sudden, Dylan Rich, 17, soccer, dead. Egan, 17, soccer, dead. Nicholas Levina, 17, soccer, dead. Miguel Lugo, 17, soccer, dead. Blake O'Mara, 18, soccer, double heart attack. Dimitri McKee, 17, dead.
Christian?
Coercion has no place in this school. Coercion has no place in the lives of our young people. Take the jab if you choose to, leave the kids alone.
Hello, my name is Taylor and I am a student at Chatham High School. I am currently living with the decision that 6 superintendents made to ban unvaccinated athletes from playing on their court while letting the unvaccinated opponents play. I was told I would not be allowed to participate as I would be putting others at risk.
Cal, you have to keep your mask up.
Sorry.
Thank you.
And currently in Chatham, the COVID-positive basketball players are all vaccinated. As one of the superintendents who are part of the decision, I really hope you would reconsider and take a look at the latest data. Omicron is highly contagious, but only results in mild flu-like symptoms, not putting kids on the ventilators or at risk of death. It is a far milder version of COVID. There is not enough data on Operation Warp Speed to be forcing children to take the COVID-19 injection. Students are not at risk for hospitalization and death. Sitting by and watching students be discriminated against due to their COVID-19 injection status is shameful. The best strategy to meet students' social, emotional, and mental health is let us return to pre-pandemic normals. Self-harm in females is up 51%. Why would you want to contribute to that statistic? My cousin has saved up money for 3 years for the annual DC trip and is now being excluded from that opportunity. Give us back our proms, our sports, take away the masks, and give us back our smiles. Thank you.
I came here a couple of months ago trying to explain what's happening in my practice. I have a skincare practice, and I have had very good success with acne in the last few years. So a lot of my patients are back, the ones that recovered years ago. They're back with conditions that are highly alarming. Most people that have been injected with this new medicine, unfortunately, are very inflamed. There's a lot of redness on their skin, even from washing their face, and I see handprints on their neck. I see handprints on their chest. When I try to clean their pores, just a simple touch creates swelling like a mosquito bite. I have seen conditions like this before, maybe once or twice a year. Usually that would be someone who smoked for 20 years, who doesn't drink water and just drinks coffee and tea, chronically dehydrated. And it's also people that eat things that are allergic to, like dairy, and they consume a lot of it. They end up highly inflamed. Because human body is like a tube. If the which means fertilized egg will not attach to the uterus. I'm very alarmed that you're asking all of your athletes to get vaccinated with something that's not proven to be really effective or safe yet. Perhaps we should wait a little bit and see what happens. This is the healthiest of your population. I grew up in Soviet Union. We had a lot of issues, but we didn't have acne in aggressive form. We didn't have braces. Children did not have allergies. Believe it or not, none of my classmates had food allergies. Your kids have a lot of allergies. They are already compromised. So to take the healthiest population, which is your athletes, and to ask them to get injected with something that's very questionable is just at least unwise. Perhaps we should wait. Maybe a year. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What is a bribe in the Webster's Dictionary? Here's the definition. Money or favor given or promised in order to influence the judgment or conduct of a person in a position of trust. The way I see it, accepting the ARPS funds is accepting a bribe because it comes with a multitude of ever-changing rules that must be complied to in order to get the money. Did you ask the parents if it was okay for you to accept this bribe? I was never asked. It seems you all decided on your own what you thought was best. There are other schools that have not accepted this money that are not obligated to follow these unlawful guidelines and don't. There is no law and you possess no statutory authority to support the masking of children or the coercion of student athletes into taking an experimental toxic injection euphemistically called the COVID vaccine, or to quarantine students without a court order or to force them to social distance from each other. You may not realize this, but you are violating the foundational laws of this country by your actions, regardless of what the health department, the Board of Ed, Kathy Hochul, President Biden, or any other official recommends or orders or mandates. It is not a law, none of it. The coercion of student athletes by making their participation in sports conditional on them taking an experimental vaccine is not supported by the Constitution of New York or the United States Constitution, and this fact is finally coming to light within the courts. Our forefathers who wrote the Constitution saw that government of any form had the potential of becoming evil and may overreach. So they put the power of the individual to work and set in place safeguards for our protection. We will be using these protections if you continue down this path. Some of us are in the process of writing claims against your blanket undertakings with Utica National. Once a claim is made, your insurance company is then on notice of a pending lawsuit. We will sue in federal district court under Title 42, 1983, civil action for deprivation of rights under color of law, and under 18 U.S. Code Section 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. In both your official and individual capacities, we will seek compensatory and punitive damages. I can tell you right now, your insurance will not be enough. If this does not stop tonight, this action will move forward. We will press these actions forward to the fullest extent of our ability until they are rescinded by the power of the Constitution. That being said, we require a vote by all members, both bonded and not, on any and all COVID guidelines and mandates. A vote to continue or rescind them, and we require that vote to happen tonight before we leave in order for you to avoid legal action. It's up to you.
I came here tonight as a resident of Columbia County, a taxpayer, a former student of Ichabod Crane. My son was a student who graduated from Ichabod Crane. I come here to know what is going on in the district and to express my concern with how the students are actually being educated and the way that the implementation of the supposed guidelines are being implemented. I believe that there's collateral damage that we're not recognizing because of these guidelines of masking, of emotional turmoil that students are experiencing that we don't see behind closed doors. I think there is abuse that is happening that cannot be resolved. I believe that there are fentanyl deaths because overdoses because of the masking and the lockdown, the entire stress of this, what we call new normal. I'm here to say that I don't believe that it's normal, and at the end of the night, I pray This is not how we lived when we had disease, illness, the cold, the flu. We don't count the flu anymore. We never mandated flu vaccines for our students, for ourselves. And now that's all we care about is the vaccine. I'm here to say that I care about the students, the community, I care about the state, the country, and I have a heart to believe that things will change because this isn't healthy. Thank you.
It's not about what any of you or what any of us think what's the right thing to do. It is that it has to be a choice, and we know there are risks and adverse reactions with wearing masks and with mandating vaccines. And so it just can't be mandated. There has to be a choice, and I just have to appeal to you that you do whatever you can to get rid of the mandates in the school and create an environment where parents, where students are free to really decide what's best for them, and the decisions between the doctors and their patients what to do. There was, anybody heard of the Rome Declaration? The meeting was in September 2021, where, about 65 doctors and scientists are here, the co-signers of sending out, this declaration, there's 3 resolutions. The first resolution that healthy children shall not be subject to forced vaccinations. The second one is that naturally immune persons recovered from SARS-CoV-2 shall not be subject to any restrictions or vaccine mandates. The third, that all health agencies and institutions shall cease interfering with physicians treating individual patients. By now, 11,400 physicians, medical scientists, and researchers have signed this declaration. Not public people, just scientists and doctors, saying there is a risk. So I'll just leave it there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's going to complete our public comment session for tonight, and I want to thank everybody who spoke, and I want to thank everybody for your courteousness and cooperation. I did want to just respond to one point that was raised in the form of a question, but was repeated throughout as a theme, and it had to do with the requirement for masks until 2024, and any such funding that's tied to that. I want to make it abundantly clear and make it an unequivocal statement that A, there is no mask mandate until 2024. The mask mandate is at the direction of the Department of Health and the governor, and it has nothing to do with the funding we receive from a grant, a donation, or any other form of state or federal funding. So I just want to make sure that that is on the record and stated fully and completely for anybody who continues to carry forward that notion that mask mandate will go away when the mask mandate goes away. And we all, every one of us at this table, everyone in this room, that it's before 2024 for sure. But in general, there is nothing about the federal aid that was provided to the district that is tied to masks or vaccines. And that also needs to be stated very clearly so that that misconception can be put to rest and we can move on from that comment and that comment in itself so that everybody knows that we are not required to give vaccines or wear masks in order to get the money that's helping with mental health and with the hiring of faculty and staff and helping with the resources that we need to keep our doors open and make sure that the students' learning loss is addressed. So I'm going to leave it at that, but that is a comment that I wanted to provide and make sure that we address. So, with that, we will move on with our agenda. Item 6 on our agenda this evening is board discussion. We have some catch up here